Performance management. In this course, we're going to be looking through something that I consider we do every day, and that is to measure how people actively perform around us. And so I consider this is a practical course that I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fun doing. The objectives of the session and what I'm going to be going through now is the objectives of the entire first unit, but we're going to just be talking about the goals of the performance management process in this session. So for the unit, we're going to talk through the goals of the performance management process. What are the components of the process? What is the difference between performance management and performance appraisal, which is something I think we're familiar with? What are the determinants of performance in organizations? What is the purpose? What is the performance management cycle? What's the criteria for measuring performance? And so at the end of this session, we consider that you will have a general but basic grasp of what it is that we're talking about in this course. But for now, let's look at what influences performance. Now, when we're talking about performance, we really are talking about activities. And so we're talking about individual behaviors. And we expect that as individuals behave in organizations, that what we will get is that we will get a result. Now, we expect that these results are going to be able to give us what the organization's strategy is. So it is going to accomplish a strategy, and that in that accomplishment of the strategy, we are going to be bound by a couple of things. Now we're going to be bound, one, I think, by the individual's attributes, what they come to the table with, and what are the situational constraints. And so behavior is also going to be a process. And so if we understand this process, what we will know is how it is that we can influence the constraints or the attributes or the strategy in order for us to be able to have these results the way we want them. So what are the definitions? Performance management, according to No, is the process by which managers ensure that employees' activities and outputs are congruent with the employee goals. So congruent is also another word we need to look at, and that refers to an alignment. It is managing all elements of the organizational process that affects how the employee performs. And so it would affect goal setting, worker selection, performance appraisal, compensation, training and development, and career management. All of these are organizational processes in HR, and performance management becomes core. Now, another definition is that it is an ongoing communication process, and that is something you're going to hear a lot about. It's an ongoing communication process that involves both the manager and the employee in identifying and describing what those essential job functions are and relating them to the mission of the organization, developing realistic and appropriate performance standards, giving and receiving feedback about performance, and writing, communicating constructive appraisals, planning developmental opportunities to sustain and improve or build on employees' work performance. What is performance management versus performance appraisal? Now, the performance appraisal looks back and asks how well was the work done. So performance appraisal looks at your past activity. Performance management looks at what it is that you are going to do in the future. So performance management is a planning tool, while performance appraisal is a measurement tool. Let's look at these goals. We want to be able to improve performance. We want to develop people for promotional activities. We want to meet the need for performance feedback. We want to ensure that employees are working towards your goal. We want to provide information that can make and defend employee HR goals. And that's the goals and the introduction to performance management.